big man ting, smash the like button and subscribe. Wow. Obviously my dons who follow my other channel will know I put a documentary out exposing Muck Tapper. He's no good. He ain't got, unless he's what we call an on-top fighter. Unless he's knocking you out in the first 20 seconds, he falls to bits. He falls to bits. He got his front leg bust and he fell apart. It's embarrassing. This man is a joke. I'm done with him. I was done with him a long time ago. But he did suck me back in. It's something with his voice. It sucks me in. And then it ends like this. In tears. Pathetic. No heart. No chin. No whatever. Useless. McGregor is useless. Don't get me wrong. He's a one-round fighter. And that's no joke. There's some fighters in the past, yeah, who we say, oh, he's a one-round fighter. McGregor is a one-round fighter. If he don't get you out in one round, he's done. No heart, no cardio, no chin. We saw Max Holloway went about 20 rounds with Poirier. Didn't do anything. Couldn't knock him out. I think in the second fight they knocked him out. But either way, it took about 20 rounds. McGregor didn't get hit the first round. Got his leg bust. And then, he fell apart. The whole lot fell apart. And you hear him saying, oh, well, you know, I wasn't as comfortable in there as I would have liked. What? He wasn't as comfortable. It's a fight. Do you think every fight you're going to go in there and just knock the person out? Wait, to be fair, he does. I can't even say that because he does. He thinks he's going to go in there and knock the guy out in 20 seconds and it's all going to be gravy. But he's been exposed, essentially. Bottom line, he's no good. I don't want to see no more of him. I don't know what the big allure is. He ain't no good. But then again, I do, because he sucked me in as well. This time, he sucked... I thought, oh, maybe... It's something about his words. I think it's because he says it with such conviction. He's delusional. He's unwell, if the truth be known. If you actually look at how he performs, he doesn't... None of it lines up. And that's why I exposed in my documentary. He says all the stuff, all the talk, and never once has he really backed it up. McGregor is an on-top fighter. If he wins in the first round, it's all great. Look at the Cowboy fight. If someone turns up here and they come to lose, Cowboy, and they want to lose, and they're looking for a way to get out of the fight, McGregor will look devastating. If someone comes to win, Habib, Poirier, who else we got? Nate. He falls apart. He doesn't know what to do in an actual fight. You've never ever seen McGregor dig down deep, and that's why I have to rate Poirier because he got me gassed at the end of this fight. He said, what was it? He said, yeah, McGregor caught me with some. We know that McGregor has the best two in the game, the best counter two in the game, but I just don't give a F. He just dropped it. None of this fruity Mystic Mac business. He said, I just don't give a... Simple as that. And how can you knock that? Because I got to be honest, in the first round, Poirier was getting lit up. I thought, wow, this is going to go the same way as the first fight. McGregor looked calm, collected in there, his shots were sharp. And I thought to myself, no joke, at the end of the first, I thought to myself, what's going to happen if this fight goes into the second? Because I know what McGregor's like. He ain't got no gas tank. And it was interesting because at the end of the first, he was standing up at the end of the round. I thought, you best take a seat. You ain't Mr. Cardio. I know that all your dead training team, all your dead sports scientists have got you gassed. You best take a seat. Next thing we know, McGregor on his backside looking all delirious because he ran out of gas. Don't care what no one says. He ran out of gas in that fight. He got his leg bust and he ran out of gas. 100%. You don't... The way he was slumped on the floor for about 2 minutes, you don't end up like that if you've got a full gas tank. Yeah? It's embarrassing. Didn't even get hit cleanly. Just fell apart. It's embarrassing. The first time he gets his leg touched. Listen, we've seen many people, yeah, have their leg battered for 5 rounds. And I'm not being funny here, but Poirier, he's not the most angelic when it comes to the leg kicks, is he? He's not like John Jones. John Jones, we've seen him butcher people's legs for round upon round. And he's deadly. Poirier is much more... He's not as loose. I don't know, it obviously worked, but I'm just saying that when has Poirier ever stopped someone with leg kicks? I've never seen it. And that's how bad have you got to be? How dead have you got to be to get stopped in the first round by leg kicks? It was the first round. Don't call it the second. It wasn't the second. It was the first. McGregor didn't make it to the second. He didn't make it through the second. He got stopped in the first. Yeah? How many rounds did you complete, McGregor? 1. You got stopped in the first. And you did nothing in there. Where's the heart? He needed to, at that point, yeah, say, you know what? My leg's bust. I'm going to put my chin down and just start swinging. Instead, his hands went down, his chin went down, all of that big chest in the air BS disappeared. Where was it? Where was all the, oh, you know, if he can take the shots, then I feel that the shots will be thrown in the first 30 seconds. Or that's what he was saying. Oh, I feel the shots that need to be thrown will be thrown within a minute. Where was all that? You needed that kind of... This man here don't get it. He needs to bring me into his camp and I'll bring him back to earth. Because I ain't impressed. I'm not. Simple as that. I'm not impressed at all. All of his fangirls, all of his friends, sucking him off. No good. Look, this is what happens. When you're around a whole load of moist people. You already know my opinion on AJ's team. Moist. But to be fair to AJ's team, they ain't as bad as McGregor's team. McGregor's team are full of sidemen. I'd tell him straight. All that frilly stuff, you need to turn the mouth off and start backing it up. We don't want to hear. Don't no one, least of all your teammates, want to hear about all this, all that, all the good stuff. And then you go in there and you look pathetic. It's embarrassing. And listen, people can say, oh, YB, you're not a fighter. Listen, I never told him to talk so much. I never told him to give it to big man and then go in there and bottle it and just choke. I've never seen someone with such a big mouth who has no minerals. He has none. Seriously, none. He falls apart. If he don't win in the first 10 seconds, he just shrivels up and like a wilting plant with no water. Just shrivels away. It's proper embarrassing. Everything he says is just a lie. Where's the dig deep? Where's the heart? That's what people say, oh, he's a true champion just because he can accept a loss. Yeah, is he better than Ronda Rousey? Okay, but that's not a very tall marker, is it? Oh, he's better than Ronda Rousey. Wow. She was the worst loser. So yeah, in that respect, he's better than Ronda Rousey. But I'm talking about a true champion. A true champion is someone who pushes through. He wasn't bust up. You don't get bust up in the first round by Poirier. You just don't. Show me it before. Show me the precedent where Poirier's bust someone up in one round. I've never seen it. McGregor was the bigger man in there, the more fluid man, and he got bust. And it comes down, in part, to all of his goofy training people. And in my opinion, McGregor used to be known as a man who was very... I'm not a UFC expert or an MMA expert, but still, I'm just going to say the little things I can see. McGregor used to be, if anything really, he'd be more kick-focused. You'd see him throwing the most creative kicks. Now, all of a sudden, he goes in there, his feet are heavy, he's plodding forward, and that's how Poirier took his front leg home with him. Poirier took McGregor's front leg, you know, like Lego, yeah? Well, not Lego. You know when you buy an action man, and you can unclip their legs sometimes? That's what happened tonight. Poirier ain't going home with a UFC belt. He's going home with McGregor's leg slung over his shoulder. Took it clean off for him. Yeah? And that's because McGregor used to come out. He was loosey-goosey on his feet. Look at the Aldo fight. That was the peak of McGregor. He come out loosey-goosey. There was no messing about. There was no leg kicks could touch him. Just too loose. He was never... McGregor used to talk about, I'm in no space. I'm in no space, and then I'm in all the space, kind of thing. It sounds mad, but it's true. In that Aldo fight, he was in no space, and he was in every space. Loosey-goosey. Now he comes out, he plods forward, knees bent, like he's a boxer, essentially. Even though that stance is a bit too wide for a boxer, but still, you know what I'm saying? He's got that heavy... It's funny, McGregor used to laugh about Muay Thai fighters and say, oh, they're too heavy, they're too flat-footed, and they're too stuck in the mud. Look what happened tonight. He came out in that Thai style, knees stuck in the mud, and got his leg took off for him. And there was no real kicks either. He was all about the hands. And your hands ain't that good, obviously. Because when Poirier came in to win, when Poirier wasn't psyched out, the hands weren't what you thought they was. Anyway, let me talk through what happened in the stoppage because I'm intrigued. So he gets his front leg bust, and then you see McGregor's form completely wilter. He goes from being this quite strong stance, strong, wide stance, and all of a sudden you see him square up. All that wideness disappears. That's obviously because his leg got bust. Then you see him backed up against the ropes, and what you'll notice is McGregor doesn't throw once. He goes out like a sideman. He goes out, he talks about all the fights he's had in sparring. I reckon McGregor brings people in and they're told, don't go hard on McGregor. Because I don't believe it. I'm sorry, I don't believe he's having all these wars in sparring. Because this ain't a man who's having wars. We've seen people like James Toney and people we know have wars in the gym. They ain't falling over in the second round when they ain't really even taking any shots. McGregor wasn't knocked out. He wasn't put unconscious. He just got lazy and got tired and thought, I want out of here. And I'm surprised, to be fair. It's just as well, I'm actually glad that Poirier did bust his front leg. And I'll tell you why. Because we know what McGregor's like. Normally, yeah, if McGregor gets his front leg, or if McGregor is about to get knocked out, he'd rather shoot. So I'm glad that he got his front leg bust. Otherwise, he would have shot in and then look to get tapped out rather than get knocked out. So I'm glad that this is finally, he got his comeuppance. No more, you can't quit no more, McGregor. Poirier put you out your misery. No more quitting. Because we know what you're like. You'd be trying to shoot in, become a panic wrestler, and trying to look for a way out. But you couldn't, because you got your leg took, and now you got put out properly. Good. You went out, at least this time, no one can say he quit. He didn't quit, he got knocked out. Even though he did kind of quit, because it wasn't no fight. Simple as that, listen. And this is the thing. Oh, YB, you're not a fighter, rah, rah, rah. Listen, I've been to a certain level in sport, yeah? Have I quit before? Yeah, I've quit. But I'll tell you straight, I've quit. I jacked that night. I didn't want to be there. Simple as that. Don't come out and say, oh, well, I wasn't as fresh as I wanted to be, and, inactivity. It was nothing to do with inactivity. Having no balls, quitting, having no fight in you, being an on-top fighter, being an on-top one-round fighter, being an on-top one-round 30-second burst fighter, doesn't nothing to do with inactivity. It's to do with you ain't got the minerals that you think you have. You all talk. You should have come out tonight and said, you know what, guys? After long reflection, I've realised all the stuff I talk, it's all in my imagination. None of it's real. And that's why when Poirier put it on me tonight, I fell apart. Oh yeah, and just quickly as well, before I go, I want to say this. I told you, man. And you, man, everyone was laughing at me. Oh, YB, you're funny. I said to you, man, listen. Jake Paul will knock McGregor out. And I'm saying it now. And I'm in a way, I wish I could take the odds. I wish I'd have taken the odds before, because now it's going to be, Jake's probably going to be the favourite anyway, although knowing all the McGregor fangirls, he probably won't. I'm telling you now, I'm calling it now. If Conor McGregor ever gets in there with Jake Paul, McGregor will tap. He'll quit. And he'll go out the same way we saw him go out. Because listen, I'm not being funny here, but Poirier's boxing ain't all that. I'm sorry, it's not. Just watch how the fight went tonight. Yes, is Poirier one of the baddest men in the world? Absolutely, I rate Poirier. Poirier comes back from a loss, a devastating loss, and he is the man he is today. He's a true warrior. And like he said, McGregor's got the best counter two in the business, but he just don't give a. Simple as that. That is a truly bad man. Poirier is what McGregor would like to be. McGregor will go home tonight and dream about a man like Poirier, a true fighting man. You can't knock that. McGregor will never be that. He ain't got that in him. He just ain't. And as I was saying, the first round and a half, McGregor getting lit up, Poirier's hands weren't all that. They're not as clean as McGregor's, but that don't mean nothing. In this game, thankfully or fortunately enough, this game isn't about how clean your hands are. It's about, really, how big your balls are. Yes, you need a bit of skill, but obviously Poirier's got a bit of skill, but all in all, what tonight proved, a big mouth and no balls don't get you nowhere. Never mind a closed mouth don't get fed. A big mouth and no balls don't get fed. How about that? I made a new one for you. That's what we do know. Talking about Khabib don't want to fight. Oh yes, I know. Khabib doesn't want this fight. All this kind of business. But Khabib don't want this fight. Are you joking? Khabib would knock you out as well with a sloppy overhand right, and you know it. You don't want none of Khabib. You can't even deal with Poirier. What you on about? You're getting sent down to the undercards. You're going back to the UFC fight nights like Woodley, and then you'll be you'll be cut off. I predict in 2 years, McGregor will be in Bellator. Because he ain't going to beat no one in UFC. Anyone who can go in there and last the first round, they're going to win. Maybe not Tony Ferguson because he's finished as well, but still. Anyway, listen. Poirier is a top 10 out of 10 warrior. A Louisiana warrior. Certified. But still, like I said, Jake Paul, if this man McTapper dares go in there with Jake Paul will slump this dude. And all you Conor fangirls, you're dreaming. In fact, DM me and I'll take all the money off you, man. No doubt. All of it I'll take off you. All of it, a whole lot. Whatever money you man got from McGregor, I'll take it off you on the Jake Paul fight. No doubt. No refunds either. Don't give me no, oh, YB, I got bills, my kids are... Don't want to hear it. Take the money. Simple as that. Yeah? But now, on a serious note, McTapper exposed. Poirier, the baddest man. A bad man.